Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, May 11th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host. I have talked with our tribal chief, and he says the show can go on. It is me, Jeremy Pierce. Welcome, one and all. First things first, you know you can check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube. Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter, Coffee, Patreon. You know what it is. We're also going to get I gotta get these movie reviews and TV reviews up. I gotta figure out, it's a lot. But with today's show, we're gonna look at the worst of wrestling. It is idiocy. Today is something I wanted to talk about, and it's getting really tiring to see the same points over and over and over again. But for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. So before we dive into the idiocy of wrestling today, let's have some fun. These are the 5 funniest wrestlers today. Number 5, Stokely Hathaway. Part of me wants to make this man number 1 because his quips on Twitter, his posting on social media is just top notch. And when he gets on TV, he knows how to make the crowd laugh. He knows how to be engaging. Stokely Hathaway is just a funny man. And it's a shame that we couldn't get this when he was in the WWE. I don't even remember what his name was in the WWE other than the fact that he created the Diamond Mine stable. But this guy is absolutely hilarious. Just go follow him on social media and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Number 4, Timeless Toni Storm. Who would have thought that the woman who got pie-faced with an actual pie in WWE would come to AEW, first join the Outcast and a really fun stable, and then transition to this delusional old movie character. And it's just funny. Tits out, watch out for the shoe, the gimmick, the promos, they're just awesome, and it works. He knows how to make you laugh on her promos. She knows how to also be serious, and it's just really, really good stuff. Timeless Toni Storm. I don't know how long this gimmick is going to go for, but it's going to keep me laughing. Number 3, Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose is so underrated with how funny and how good she is. Like Stokely Hathaway, just check her out on social media. Absolutely great work. And then I think moving to Ring of Honor helped her. She was able to show more of her personality. I don't know why. I understand why they made her a heel, because you know big people have to be heels for some reason other than like Otis. But she has been great. Her feud with Athena, absolutely hilarious. She knows just what to say. She knows just what to do. Nyla Rose is second to none. And number 2, Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is right here because of his parody songs. He makes them work, and he's able to have that creative freedom in TNA, because I don't think he would be able to do this and get away with some of the things he's gotten away with the WWE. Probably would get away with an AEW, but TNA has allowed him to just expand, and the songs are always the highlight of the feud, and they are so good, and they get under the skin of whomever he is going against. It's great work by him. And number 1, Orange Cassidy. What more can I say? I didn't know who Orange Cassidy was until I watched AEW. I've been watching AEW from the get-go, and this lazy guy, hands in the pockets, just, I'm too cool for school. I'm so good at wrestling that I don't even need to try. It's just good, man. He knows how to make you laugh with the kicks and the promos and the little things that he does on screen, like the street fight between the Proud and Powerful and the Young Bucks, and he's just in the bathroom. Like, he's just really, really good at making you laugh. Other people that probably should have been on the list, Otis and Jay Uso. I had to narrow it down to 5, and those two really barely missed the cut. But let me know what you guys think. We might expand this list just a little bit further. But we'll be right back. The spotlight is back, and it's shining on one CM Punk. Now, listen, I used to be a huge CM Punk fan. I'm still kind of a fan, but now at this point, I am getting tired of his shtick. Look, CM Punk is really, really good for business. That I cannot deny. He's an amazing talent. We all know that. But the shtick of him never accepting responsibility for his actions, for things that he's started, is getting tiring. This feud with Drew McIntyre has been good so far because it's rooted in a lot of truth. And Drew gets hate because he's speaking the truth. Don't you love it when heels just make sense? And once again, CM Punk, fragile mind, fragile ego, fragile body is on the shelf again. So he has to come out and cut promos, and he cuts the same promos each and every week. So now we have to wait for him to get in the ring to ratchet this feud up. And I'll wait. He can't win this feud. He can't be proven right. Drew McIntyre's got to win this feud because Drew McIntyre has been on a roll. But Punk can come out of this looking like $1 million. He just needs to make sure he doesn't get hurt again. All right. Today's show has been something that's been on my mind for a very long time now. Wrestling idiocy, idiots in wrestling, however you want to call it, it's been getting to the point of annoyance. And by that I mean the people out there in the world that don't have any joy in their life. People that make it their life's goal to just be assholes. So we're going to talk about it today. I really want to point out some things, some moments, people who or what don't know when to just shut up and just go away. So let's get into it. I wasn't even going to start with this one, but this past week during the Ring of Honor tapings, Sky Blue was in a match with Rochelle Ellering, and she was essentially being sexually harassed by a man who was with his son in the audience. Now, earlier on Dynamite, Saraya pointed them out on TV. Now, you were thinking, well, maybe it was just Saraya doing her usual stick where she gets into it with the cameraman who they have a fun relationship with, and she jaws at the crowd. Saraya's really good at that. She has a great wrestling mind. But no, she was pointing out this man who was with his son. So Sky Blue and Rochelle Ellering had their match, and after the match, Sky Blue immediately left the ring, and Rochelle and Aubrey Edwards got this man tossed, and he put up a little bit of a fight. Now, remember, Rampage was not taped after Dynamite this past week. It was going to be after Collision tonight, so they really had a good crowd for Ring of Honor, and this was not needed. This was not necessary. Purchasing a ticket does not give you the right to be an asshole to the talent. Yes, you can heckle, you can have fun, you can have a great time. And the wrestlers they love going back and forth with the fans. It's what makes wrestling so great. But when you purchase a ticket to any kind of event, you agree to the terms of service of that arena. You do not get the right to be a dick, to be an asshole. More importantly, you don't get to say, well, she shouldn't dress like that if she didn't want to be heckled. So one, no, you don't get to be a misogynist creep. Two, by saying that, you're the type of person that says she deserves it when something else of a more, let's say, violent nature occurs. No. It's just like in the cosplay world. Cosplay does not mean consent. Yes, Sky Blue is an incredibly beautiful woman with an amazing body. She is well within her right to show it off, to do whatever. You respect her. You respect her choices. You respect everyone's choices. And I am so glad for the outpouring of support that Sky Blue got. I'm so glad that we can recognize champions like Rochelle Ellering and Aubrey Edwards who got that asshole tossed. Be better. And we know that Sky Blue is grateful and thankful for this. We need to be better for future generations. That guy, who is a horrible father, does not speak or reflect the rest of the wrestling community. And yes, there are a lot of dickheads in the wrestling community. We're going to dive into that. We've got blind CM Punk supporters, and this all stems back to the brawl in, brawl out, whatever. So we look. We know the story. We know the story. CM Punk offered advice to Jack Perry. Jack Perry didn't want it. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on backstage. And CM Punk started a fight with Jack Perry after Jack Perry's match at All In, right? CM Punk started the fight. You know how we know he started the fight? Because we saw the footage. And what did CM Punk do? Got hurt again, and then he tucked tail and ran back to the WWE. There is no one out there that should be defending CM Punk. You can say that he is right to defend himself, absolutely. He is right to speak his mind, absolutely. But when he blatantly lies, when he starts fights, when he calls out a company that hired him and brought him back to wrestling, you're wrong. He is wrong. CM Punk, like I said earlier in the Superstar Spotlight, is great for business. I know this. You know this. But he has to be better. And I don't think he can. Yes, the elite like the Troll, more specifically the Young Bucks like the Troll, but they also have a brilliant mind for wrestling. Just look at their current EVP gimmick right now. And there are people that want to focus on the footage being shown. Well, why was the footage shown? Why is the story not about the footage? Because the story is not supposed to be about the footage. The story is about the Young Bucks and their EVP status. The footage is one of the catalysts to propel the story forward. It is not the reason for the story. It's just a cog in the machine to get to the next chapter of the story. That's what you have to realize. And Punk going on Raw and this great feud right now with Drew McIntyre spouting half-truths and full lies doesn't help. It just doesn't. Especially when you have someone like Drew McIntyre who is clearly speaking the truth. Don't be blind just because you ride this man's jockstrap. period. Speaking of being spoon-fed, there are people that don't, I'm not going to say don't like long-term storytelling, but don't understand it. And I think a lot of that comes from the WWE. Now hear me out. For a while now, until AEW formed, WWE was top dog. There was no WCW anymore. There was no ECW. TNA had squandered the goodwill that they had, and the WWE was on top for the better part of a decade. And because the WWE caters to a casual audience, everything has to be spoon-fed. Everything has to be direct. And that's what people are used to. They're used to being given everything up front so they can soak it all in. Kind of like what Family Guy does when they just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. There for the longest time wasn't any subtlety to their stories. And I will admit, the subtlety really came finally with the Bloodline storyline, which was surprisingly started by Vincent Kennedy McMahon. The Bloodline storyline has so many twists and turns, some good, some bad, but so many nooks and crannies and so many subtle hints and digs that you have to pay attention. And now with Vince McMahon gone, we're starting to get that storytelling back. Case in point, the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. Pay attention. WWE is doing these little things where you can see stuff in the background and it's getting people talking. There was Liv leaving a room and then only a few seconds later, Dom coming out. Then there's on Raw, Dom has his bandana. Goes to his group. His bandana's missing. Where's his bandana? There's a Liv Morgan photo shoot later that night. Look in her pocket. Oh, there's Dom's bandana. What did Liv say? She didn't want to take the championship from Rhea Ripley. She wanted to take everything from Rhea Ripley. Once again, Liv's not the heel here. How is Liv the bad guy? She's getting booed for what? For putting Rhea Ripley on the shelf? Rhea did the same thing to her, but because Rhea's super popular, Liv's the bad guy? See what I mean about subtlety? AEW, right now, we have Trent Beretta losing his damn mind. I'm thinking, okay, he's the one that's becoming the heel. But why is Orange Cassidy leaving with Don and Callis? You see what I mean by subtlety, hence letting the stories play out? And yes, sometimes you need to pivot. Tony Khan doesn't have a great record of pivoting. I'm pointing at the Chris Statlander injury. But here's a good storytelling. Saying that AEW doesn't have any storytelling is just a bald-faced lie. We're going to get into that. Just sit and watch and let things play out. Criticizing the news. Criticizing the reporters. What do I mean by that? There are people that hate on Meltzer, that hate on SRS for what? For why? Because they're doing their job, because they are good at their job. Getting angry at wrestling reporters is just weird. For one, if the fans actually pay attention to the news, pay attention to the primary outlet that actually reports the news, instead of blogging sites and people that repost the report on what another outlet reported, even if it's clearly speculation and analysis instead of an actual reporting, you will see that most wrestling reporters who break stories are good at their job. Period. They are good at their job. I trust SRS pretty much above anybody. I trust Shams. I trust Meltzer to an extent, but they are good at what they do. That's it. And there are a bunch of outlets out there that do a fantastic job of reporting. It's that simple. Look at the report and not someone who is talking about the reports. Keep it simple. That's it. Now look, I know Tiffany Stratton has a great fan base. I am all for it. She is growing on me. I am starting to recognize that she may be a wrestling prodigy. Like, she may be in that same class of Logan Paul and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez's nickname literally is The Prodigy because she is just good. But people complaining that Tiffany Stratton hasn't won the women's championship after she's only been on the main roster for 3 months, you need to relax. Period. She doesn't need to win. She needs to keep growing. She needs to keep getting better and developing more. I think Tiffany might not even win the women's championship until she becomes a face and then becomes a heel again. You're not going to debut her and then have her immediately defeat Bayley, one of your most respected veterans on the, not even on the roster, but in professional wrestling. You are not going to job out Bayley to Tiffany Stratton, this rookie. Tiffany is young. She has a long career ahead of her. Period. So just relax. Okay? And finally, the big one. The big one. AEW haters. What do I mean by that? Well, ever since AEW has debuted, there has been this constant campaign to discredit them. There has been this constant fly buzzing in my ear about everything that they don't do. So I want to touch on this first. The old guard. You know exactly who I'm talking about. But if not, I'll call them out. Eric Bischoff, Bubba Ray Dudley, Disco Inferno, Kevin Nash, Booker T, Jim Cornette. Now, yes, you gentlemen all have done amazing things in the wrestling business. But for some of you who are so intrinsically connected to the WWE, you don't have a brain. You don't have a voice. You're the scarecrow. Booker T. Oh, I forgot it. Mark Henry. Even though Mark Henry works for AEW, he's stuck in this old guard mindset. But these gentlemen never have anything positive to say about AEW. Eric Bischoff said Tama Tonga is a young, bright talent. The man is 41. Eric Bischoff, who's been featured on AEW once or twice, has nothing good to say about them. And just because you made WCW, mind you, you also ruined not only WCW, put them out of business, but you also almost ruined TNA. Eric Bischoff never has anything positive to say about AEW. Neither does Bubba Ray Dudley. Neither does Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette is such a piece of shit that I'll dance on his grave. He is a disgusting human being, and the fact that he has so many avid followers is sad. It's sad. He never has anything positive to say about AEW. When Swerve won, the first podcast he did had a picture of an ape on it. That was the cover. So what are you talking about, Jim Cornette? Booker T works for the WWE. I get it. He also has never anything good to say about AEW. This is the same man that said Triple H did nothing wrong with their feud. That whole feud was based off of racism. It was rooted in racism. You think he did nothing wrong? Just because this company doesn't want to do what you want them to do doesn't make them wrong. Get over yourselves and move on. Then there are people that point out ratings. Like, ratings are the end all to be all for a wrestling show. Let's get this straight. Let's get this straight. Ratings do matter. You just need to be top 10 somewhere in your channel. You know what I mean? And AEW has a great relationship with Warner Brothers TNT. They do. If they didn't have a great relationship, they wouldn't have 3 different shows on during the week. Hell, they're probably going to, with a streaming deal, ending up on Max. But people want to point out week in and week out Dynamite's ratings. Now, yes, I will admit Rampage ratings could be better, and they need to be better. Dynamite's ratings are fine. And the off years that they do have a low ratings because of something else that's going on TV. Something else has happened. That's okay. AEW isn't going anywhere. And then you have those same people that points to the attendance. So let me get this straight. Because AEW doesn't fill out the arenas fully, they're a dying company. Each and every week there's a picture about showing an AEW arena that's 3/4 full, maybe even half full. So they load up the hard camera side to make the show look great on TV. You think a company that's barely 5 years old should be selling out arenas each and every week compared to a company that's a half decade old in the WWE? TNA used to sell a lot of arenas, and don't look at them. I'm not trying to take a shot at TNA. AEW needs to grow. Yes, Tony Khan needs to stop booking the same markets and expand. Tony Khan needs to start getting house shows. Tony Khan needs to get a home base for Ring of Honor. There's a lot of things he could do to make the company better, but they are doing well. And because they are doing well, the WWE is doing well. They need competition to be better, to get better, period. And people want to talk about AEW's attendance, and then we get a pay-per-view where they just sell out the pay-per-view. Didn't AEW just sell out Wembley Stadium last year, and they're about to sell it out again? Right? I guarantee you if AEW was like, yo, New Japan, can we do an event at the Tokyo Dome? Guarantee the Tokyo Dome will sell out. They just would. And lastly, saying that AEW has no storytelling. That could not be the furthest thing from the truth. Off the top of my head, right now, we have the EVP storyline We have Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale and who attacked who. We've got the Cope Open and the House of Black trying to mess with Copeland's head. We have Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May doing their All About Eve story. Mind you, Mariah May's going to turn. One of them is going to turn on each other because Tony's going to get jealous of Mina Shirakawa always being with Mariah May. We have Serena D returning from her injury and proving that she is the professor of professional wrestling. We have Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy in the breakup of the best friends. We have Jericho and the Learning Tree. This is just what's going on right now. And I'm being told AEW doesn't have any stories. No. AEW doesn't spoon feed you stories. They don't give you everything up front. They don't throw everything in your face and says, here's what's going to happen. They don't. They like to play things out. They like to slow it down a little bit and tell you that, hey, stick with this. You're going to love the payoff. At the end of the day, shut up. Everyone's entitled to opinion. You can have your opinion. You can talk, you can laugh, you can love, you can live, you can do all of that good stuff. But when you're blatantly in the wrong, when you're blatantly hating, when you're blatantly going out of your way to cause havoc and chaos and just be an asshole, we don't need you. We don't need it. Wrestling is great and it's experiencing a phenomenal boom right now. AEW, WWE, TNA, NXT, Ring of Honor, New Japan, AAA, CMLL, NWA, MLW. Wow, the list goes on. Wrestling is great right now. WWE just had a pretty good pay-per-view on Backlash. And then they're about to do the King and Queen of the Ring. And then we've got Double or Nothing coming up. Wrestling is great right now. Just enjoy it. Have fun. And don't be upset when you get called out, when you get criticized, when you get told that you are wrong. Because you are wrong. But that is the show, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Next week, we got on the schedule. We got a list coming up. Who should be the next Women's World Championship contenders? That's hitting WWE, AEW, NXT. I might make this like a multiple list thing. I think I might do that, actually. We got a Flashback Friday coming up, Double or Nothing 2023. We got the High Wrestling Podcast, episode 176, TNA's newest signings. We got another list following that. We got Let's Talk About It, King and Queen of the Ring, and then the Double or Nothing preview. Can't wait. But that is next week. Don't forget to check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. That is the show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. As always, Gigi Dolan, Isla Dawn, Willow Nightingale, Bailey, Chris Statlander, and Anna J. Holla at your boy. Peace.